One of the most crucial comparisons is starting right now. Mercedes E-Class versus BMW 5 Series, both in the new generation. With Thomas Autogefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go! Which one is the best? Here, the Verde Silver colored E-Class in the AMG line in the new generation with a very elegant and more traditional classic look, I would say. If you have Avantgarde or AMG trim, then you have the Microstar pattern right here. Here you would still get an exclusive trim where you still get the classic star standing on the top. Whereas we have the BMW 5 Series here in Brooklyn Grey with the M Sport, so both in this sporty exterior trim comparison. Now you can see the double kidney has become a little bit wider here in this normal combustion engine version. It looks also rather traditional here with the vertical fins. The electric version would not look too different unless you go for the M60 i5. Then the front grille looks really, more menacing actually. But here I think actually a very nice look. M Sport has some black contrasts. If you look at both of the vehicles here from the front, you see that the BMW goes more into a sporty direction, whereas the E-Class has the more classic approach. Which one do you like best here so far? Turning indicator comparison, here in the front you can see the E-Class on the top, really horizontally, and we have the BMW with a different structure, and you have this heartbeat pulsing effect. In the side profile, the length difference is about 11 centimeters or 4 inches, because the Mercedes E-Class is at 4 meters 95 or 195 inches. Whereas the BMW 5 Series, especially in this new generation, has become much longer now at 5 meters 06 or 199 inches. The wheelbase difference is 4 centimeters or 1.5 inches. Also, once again, the BMW 5 Series has a little longer wheelbase there. Let's see if that translates into a longer legroom. Once again, in the side profile, the E-Class has the more traditional roundish sedan shape. Both have 19-inch wheels mounted, so also a very comparable choice, both with winter tires here, obviously now winter in Germany. And here, also with the M Sport styling, once again, the Brooklyn Grey color is pretty cool, isn't it? And here the BMW 5 Series in a design shows a more angular approach. Also big difference as for suspension technology. The BMW 5 Series you can get with an adaptive suspension. The air suspension only available on the rear axle if you have the plug-in or the all-electric version. The Mercedes E-Class offers a full optional air suspension, of course also heavier in the price and so on, but that is then on both axles actually. But let's see if the 5 Series adaptive suspension can even that out, basically, that difference. And also rear axle steering, both do offer that. However, Mercedes steers 4.5 degrees in the opposite direction, whereas the 5 Series only goes 2.5 degrees in the opposite direction. So the E-Class fakes a shorter wheelbase than the 5 Series does. In the rear, they also set on different stylings with the Mercedes E-Class, a little bit more playful. Here, look at that, the rear tail lamp signature here in this Mercedes star design, pretty cool idea. However, then in the bottom, Autogefühl fake exhaust police alert, because here this is just a pure fake exhaust, and in this case the BMW 5 Series more this German Bauhaus style, more angular design, also horizontally drawn tail lamps like this. M Sport has the black contrast in the lower part. I also found it interesting that the base models of the new 5 Series, they look more classy, more elegant. The M Sport, of course, always adds this more menacing look. And we can see here, clean design, no fake exhaust at all. Turning indicators, here actually the BMW is a clear winner. This looks just fancier, whereas with the E-Class it looks a little bit old school. Or what would you think? Key fob comparison, Mercedes and BMW, obviously. So the BMW one is a little bit lighter. The Mercedes one has more metal ingredients, therefore it feels heavier and a little bit classier. Then the door handles here with the Mercedes, they are kind of integrated. You slide them and they come out like this, or also when you close the vehicle or open the vehicle. Also when you approach the vehicle, then they sometimes automatically come out and have this illumination that looks pretty fancy, but to me sometimes a little bit too complicated, I feel. And also the feedback they give is sometimes a little bit weird actually. Inside of the door, actually good build quality everywhere, just the high gloss black overload here. I don't like that much, and also they don't have haptic feedback here. In comparison to the S-Class, actually, they step up the game in the E-Class, we really have to say. Also in the lower part is all soft touch on the outside part. Inside part covered with felt, just here behind the back part not, but overall they thought about the details. Steering wheel, this is the AMG line with 2 horizontal spokes, and once again hashtag capacitive BS buttons. The normal steering wheel would look different, has this slot design in the lower part and has one area left and right each. Then the seats, this one here is animal skin equipment. They also have a full Artico high-grade leatherette seat, but they don't push it that much and also don't offer alternatives for the high trims and so on. But the overall seating comfort, as for the ergonomics of the seats, is good, with one exception. In the very, very low back part of the seat, there is something, you know, like, I don't know, maybe from that base seat, like metal or something, which can be kind of hard. Like on the very low part, it's not sure why that is. I think they should work on that. There's enough headroom left. There's also a panoramic roof available. At the moment, it's you know, the shade is open, and you can actually also still open that. So this is available for the E-Class everywhere. In the 5 Series, you will just get a small panoramic roof you can open in the US or Northern American market. Otherwise, you'll have fixed panoramic roof or nothing. But here you can pick between nothing and the one always you can open worldwide. Interior cockpit overview, starting with the Mercedes here. Wow, kings of ambient lighting for sure. I love it. Do you find it too much? Tell me in the comments. Of course, different colors are available, like this, or maybe also a green one to the Verde Silver exterior color. The only thing is that in this case, I sometimes indeed put the brightness for the front light strip there a little bit lower, because at night then it is blinding in the screen. Then we have this layout here, digital instruments. It's kind of like, you know, like offset a little bit. Then one huge screen here, and you have this super screen. This is an option. Otherwise, you would have the screen here and then the decor element there, which I found actually better, because passenger screen, not sure if there's so much use for that actually. Or what do you think? Would you use a passenger screen? Temperature control. The bad thing is here you always have to do 2 clicks. One here and then plus minus or slide it. Yeah, in the other Mercedes infotainment system you just can click plus and minus and it's always in that position. But here in the E-Class, not sure why they went for this software solution then. And this digital vent control, I think over-engineered. Why would it need to be moved electronically? Just because Tesla has introduced something like this? And I mean, manual is just fine. At least you can control it manually still. Infotainment system has this large tile view, and Apple CarPlay or Android Auto has this kind of integration, wired or wireless. And the head-up display, you can pick different stylings also for. Middle console here, what's cool, here you do not have to pick black piano lacquer. You can also go for this structure, this bright carbon fiber-like structure, I would say. Slide it open. Then the cup holders, they are not really sufficient because they don't keep heavier bottles or higher bottles tight enough. Inside of the rear doors, all soft touch materials here, just that they use the same thing that they use in the front and then black everything out. Really? But what's cool is also here, rear doors, lower part, soft touch here, also felt on the inside. That's definitely really good. And then you can see here the rear legroom. It works for tall adults, but it's not, you know, that much considering the length of the vehicle. Headroom does exactly fit. I can put a hand over my head. And here, you know, this shoulder arm area is kind of narrow, so it is not ideal for rear passengers. It's okay, but considering, again, the length of the vehicle, you should have more space, I feel, and also a large middle tunnel you have here. 5 Series here, this is then the solution where it is aerodynamic. At the same time, it's not that complicated, so I prefer these door handles. Then the inside of the... Wait a minute! Door closing sound we have forgotten. BMW. That's solid. And the E-Class. Both nice, but the E-Class has this kind of old school, like a G-Class, like closing mechanism, but both are cool. Back to the 5 Series here, so far so good. Different styling for sure. But then in the lower part, this is here hard pack on the outside and also on the inside. Yeah, cost saving at that price, not so sure. But there will be a price difference later on. I'll talk about that. And then the interior here, this is then the M Sport steering wheel. has one catch, because the base steering wheel would also feature vegan material, which is actually better in the material choice. I feel, at least when I tested it. This one not available then. This is then animal skin. However, the seats are animal free, and this is where BMW is actually going forward and leading, because the material itself is actually softer, plush. This is better here with the BMW, especially with the comfort seat. You also get the sport seat. I have tested both. Trust me, take the comfort seat always. It's way more comfortable, as the name says. Headroom, tough comparison, because this one here is the one with fixed roof. Remember, Northern American market gets a small openable roof. Other than that, it's a fixed panoramic roof, but with a shade then. Interior cockpit overview with the BMW 5 Series, here with the more horizontally drawn screen unit, curved screen, 2 units. Difference, E-Class 5 Series, here the steering wheel is way thicker in the 5 Series. Infotainment system, here at least you can directly press plus and minus, but Mercedes can just use a different software version. I hope they will. But here for seat heating and heated steering wheel, you always have to go then in 2 steps, whereas with Mercedes I can activate directly with the button at the inside of the door. Then the rest of the infotainment system has this kind of app overload, I feel, so just too complicated from the whole system. Apple CarPlay or Android Auto integration here looks a little bit nicer, I feel, but just available wireless, no cable connection possible. Digital instruments here look like that, completely different layout. And of course you also get a head-up display. Both have inductive charging pads, which are also cooled, so this is featured in both vehicles, that's cool. Cup holders here are a little bit better in the 5 Series. Overall here a more open atmosphere directly. And this is a crucial difference. Here with the BMW you can still control the infotainment system from below. A little bit more legroom here in the BMW 5 Series. This recess works a little bit better, also for tall adults. And yeah, it's also a hand above my head here. So I think the difference is not that large, but just a little bit better than here with the 5 Series. However, then here from the materials at the inside of the doors, there once again the E-Class leads it. Now to the trunk comparison, let's open both and start with the Mercedes E-Class, 540 liters. Here the width, good meter of 40 inches, also between the wheel arches then, and the overall length is about 115 in meters or 45 inches, well usable, and you can easily fold the seats from here. Click, click button, and it goes through immediately. Just this hard plastic part here, I don't like it that much, but the folding mechanism is really good. Then with the BMW 5 Series, 20 liters less at 520 liters. The length here, however, is just a little bit longer, 117 or in meters or 46 inches. Of course, it's also a longer vehicle. And the width here, that one actually is limited in this lower part here. So here between the wheel arches, just about 92 centimeters or 36 inches. That's why it also has less in the liter capacity. And folding mechanism, you have to go here on the top, but then you have to push through with luggage or like this. So this folding mechanism is not as luxurious as with the E-Class. Engine comparison, both use 4 and 6 cylinder petrol and diesel engines. Main technology difference is that the plug-in hybrids for the E-Class have a bigger battery, and also as for the all-electric version, BMW has the i5, which runs from the same assembly line, whereas the E-Class has a separate model with the EQE. On the combustion engine side, in this case then with the E220D, and this one here is the 520D, so the 2-liter 4-cylinder diesels. Both have around 200 horsepower, but the E-Class has the higher electric boost. Both are mild hybrid, and the E-Class also has more torque. However, since the BMW 5 Series is a little bit lighter, this one is better in the acceleration figure, 7.3 seconds and 7.6 seconds. Right, let's start with the E-Class, and here U-turn first. Wow, look at that, 4.5 degrees in the opposite direction. The rear axle here with the rear axle steering, opposite direction of the front wheels. That's impressive. So, and that U-turn there, I can hardly do that with way smaller cars. So that is really impressive. And of course here the rear axle steering goes further than with the BMW. We'll soon compare it with the 5 Series, how it is there.